So the AI is entering into the health system, but not just into the health system, it's all the way down to the level of the patient. So the patient is able to talk in their local language and describe what's going on. And so in order to make this a reality, to see what works, what doesn't work, we're thrilled that OpenAI and the Gates Foundation are committing an initiative called Horizon 1000, where we'll go into 1,000 primary healthcare clinics in Africa. And the goal is to make the work there much higher quality and, if possible, twice as efficient as it is today, taking away the paperwork that needs to be done, organizing the resources, so the patient knows what's available and when to come for their appointment. So there's all sorts of things can be improved. Rwanda has been a great partner for the Gates Foundation in a lot of things, and so we're thrilled that that's actually the first country that this work will go into. We'll certainly also, over time, work in Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, and you have different systems that we have to connect into. Although not this initiative, there's obviously a lot going on in India as well. And so, over the next couple of years, I would expect developing world health may even get ahead of rich world because the need is so great, and the governments are embracing this and making sure that it's moving at full speed.
Do you know? As far as putting words in order is concerned, AI already thinks better than many of us. Therefore, anything made of words will be taken over by AI. If laws are made of words, then AI will take over the legal system. If books are just combinations of words, then AI will take over books. If religion is built from words, then AI will take over religion. This is particularly true of religions based on books, like Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. Judaism calls itself the religion of the book, and it grants ultimate authority not to humans, but to words in books. Humans have authority in Judaism not because of our experiences, but only because we learn words in books. Now, no human can read and remember all the words in all the Jewish books, but AI can easily do that. What happens to a religion of the book when the greatest expert on the Holy Book is an AI?
Yes, but you're not going to like it.
It doesn't matter, we must know it.
All right. The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is.
Watching the Davos 2026 and how heavily the talking point is about artificial intelligence. It brought this scene to my mind, right? If you've seen this movie here, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, pretty interesting movie. If that's your thing, right? But it brought this scene right here to my mind. How? Because I put the clip where you have Bill Gates talking about artificial intelligence being the main thing that will decide how the health system goes forward, and he talks about how they are doing the whole trial run in Africa, things like that, right? Then you have Yuval Noah Harari talking about how people are going to be very dependent on artificial intelligence from religion. Talks about it from a religious standpoint, how even the Bible, AI will know the Bible more than we do, and all that other craziness, right? So I thought about this scene in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Here you have these humans, they built a supercomputer, and they depend on this supercomputer. Look at everybody came to listen to the supercomputer talk about what it is, the meaning of life, and all of that craziness, right? So that's exactly what it is. So now you think about ChatGPT and OpenAI and things like that, how people are now dependent on AI for everything, right? Nobody even wants to do critical thinking anymore. Any little question, you run to ChatGPT, all of this, right? You don't even want to take the time to do your own research or whatever. You just leave it off to Chat. So they do this on purpose, right? To make you dependent on these things. So very soon, the only source of information you're going to get will be AI, ChatGPT, whatever. When it comes to health, the only one that will give you the health advice will be artificial intelligence. That's why they let the whole thing that happened in 2020, 2021, they will blame it on human incompetence, right? Oh, the pandemic and the jabby jabs and the side effects and all is because of human incompetence. If we don't want it to happen again, we have to leave it all to AI, or we have to leave it all to artificial intelligence, right? And even you go to social media, most of the things now being done by AI, artificial intelligence. You don't even know what is real anymore, right? So that is part of that. They need you very dependent on this thing. So it's going to get to the point where AI will be the only source of information, right? That will be the only way you get any kind of information from artificial intelligence. I mean, that's peradventure, you have your digital IDs, right? So this is what is going on and what went on in Davos 2026 this year, right? And I've been keeping watch on that. Hopefully I'll bring more to the forefront. But before we go any further, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachahakodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all your brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with 144,000 down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are all of the elect, to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty. To you all, I say shalom, right? So, this is going to be like this clip too here with Klaus Schwab talking about how the narrative, we've lost the narrative. Actually, he's talking about them, right? So the only way for them to control the narrative again is going to be through AI. It's going to be everything digital. You need to conform to this new way of doing things. Let's quickly play this here.
I think that we are losing a narrative which has guided humankind since its beginning.
So you got to read between the lines. When it's talking about we, because that's what they do, right? They lump everybody into all of this to make it look like, oh, it's a we thing. Nah, he's talking about them. This big club that you're not a part of, right? So they need to get a hold of this whole thing again, right? Because, the pandemic thing came and they lost their narrative. They had that slogan, building back trust, right? Because people can see through the bullshit, even with their you will own nothing and be happy, right? That narrative. So people are not going for that. The digital IDs making it look like it's a good thing. People are not going for that. So this is a part of the narratives that he's talking about, that, to him, for a better future, right?
It's the narrative that you are here and you owe your existence also to prepare a better future. If you go back to the agricultural society, even to the beginnings during the whole time of the industrial society, there was this drive to create a better world for the future. Today, with all the crises which we have, with the multitude of problems we are confronted with, I think we have become much more egocentric on a individual and also on a national way. That makes international cooperation so much more difficult, by the way. And I think we have to think about how we recreate this narrative. And here, I have to say I'm quite optimistic.
Yeah, he would say that. And then he mentioned about the agricultural society. He mentioned about the industrial society. That's why he himself is a great pusher of the fourth industrial revolution, which is biology and technology being merged together. So this is their way of to better the future. The transhumanist agenda. They're going to turn everybody into transhumans. That's why they are pushing heavily with the artificial intelligence, and they're always letting you know how AI is going to be better than every human, is going to be better than everything. Why? Because they will need you eventually to assimilate yourself with artificial intelligence. Whether you get a brain chip or you get a chip in your hand, some way, shape, or form, you have to. That is the fourth industrial revolution. To them, this is how they take back, reinvent the narrative, and making a better future. So you always have to read between the lines what they're saying. And once you understand what the agenda is, it's not really a big deal to understand what it is they're saying, even though they try to be all facetious about it, trying to be cunning with the way they're presented to you, right? That's what the devil does. They will never be upfront with you. They will make something that is bad for you look like it's good. Speaking about that, let's get this real quick. In the book of Psalms, the 55th chapter, in the 21st verse, it says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." So the scripture's letting you know how cunning, how crafty these guys can be, right? Especially with their words, right? They present their words in a very palatable way, in a very deceptive and attractive way, right? To attract you to whatever agenda it is they're trying to have you conform to, right? So, but the true intent behind those agendas is nothing nice. You will never benefit from it, no matter how much they're trying to convince you otherwise. You will never ever benefit from it. As a matter of fact, they're looking to harm you with that same agenda that are making it so good for you, making it so convenient, and so for the greater good of mankind, for better future and all of that. But the scripture's letting you know how these devils operate. These devils in Davos, right? Devils in Davos 2026. You see? So you always got to take heed and don't always believe everything they say. Like it says here, yet where they're drawn swords. So eventually their true nature is going to come up. You will see them for who they actually are. So you cannot trust in any man. They can be very deceptive. They can be very convincing in some cases, right? Take it for example, 2020. The whole pandemic thing, they were very convincing. They had everybody thinking that this thing they will put inside of you will make it all go away. It will be safe and effective, right? And now look, fast forward to now, it was nothing but, So when these devils push you something, take heed of them. Always be wary of the devil. Like it says here, 2 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter and 11th verse. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So you cannot be ignorant of Satan's devices. And you have Klaus Schwab talking about it in a very deceptive way. You have Yuval Noah Harari talking about it, because now they're trying to make you not believe in the word of the Lord. That was his whole shtick in this 2026 Davos, right? Is to make you doubt the word of the Lord. You know, the way he was saying it, you just believe in words. It's not just any word. This is the word of the Heavenly Father. How about that? You know, leave it to the devil to be that tricky and very cunning. So ultimately, they want you to trust in some artificial, fake intelligence, right? So it says here, let Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You cannot afford to be ignorant of Satan's devices, especially now. If you snooze, you lose, right? Because once the devil gets you in his trap, guess what? You'll be caught out there. That's exactly what they're trying to do, to get you trapped up. You know, but we that see clear, we understand exactly what it is they're trying to push. We understand exactly through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai how these devils get down, right? This is the book of all right. Okay.